Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Pandemic Iberia, with every horrible way to play the game. This is actually a re-upload, considering the fact that I've already done a review, but that was a while back. And I review games that everyone's played. Like, it doesn't always have to be brand new ones. But yeah, this pandemic, it's actually weird to review a pandemic, kind of like because everyone's played it and it's like a few years old. But this, to me, is easily the best iteration of Pandemic, not counting legacies, like they're kind of their own thing. But between Rapid Response, Fall of Rome, Reign of Cthulhu, and horrible Rising Tide, this one just does something for me that it's just extremely clean, very difficult, just base game, because you don't have the luxuries of modern day technology like regular Pandemic does. And this one feels a little bit more like a puzzle than base Pandemic. Because a base Pandemic, whenever you're playing, it can become very kind of go through the motions, especially if you've played it a lot, to where you have to ramp up the difficulty. This one, I don't think you have to, but you have the option. So, what do you guys think of Pandemic Iberia? You can go whatever in what direction. Let's go in the horrible counterclockwise way we played.
Base Pandemic is famously like one of the games that I'm kind of on.
Yeah.
I played the base game and the Cthulhu. I forget what it's called.
Reign of Cthulhu, I think.
Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I like that one. That one's a lot different than this one, but this is probably my favorite overall. It looks a lot better than the base Pandemic.
Yeah, it does.
I like that there's a smaller map overall. You're not getting random locations that you're never going to get to. I feel like they just took the base game and made minor improvements on it overall.
Yeah.
It's still Pandemic, but...
Yeah, it's not so drastic a change like Fall of Rome is.
Fall of Rome is very different.
And Rapid Response, it just has the moniker Pandemic. It is nothing like any of them. But, no, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, the aesthetic of this game is really neat. Yeah. I like the art a lot.
It's a much richer theme. Everything, the roles even feel like
real roles.
Something you can actually walk into.
Right.
And role play.
Yeah, and speaking of roles in this one, I feel like every role is just beneficial to have. And in regular Pandemic, it's like, yeah, you need a medic. Like, the medic is playing. Unless you want it to be hard, and then you just don't play with the medic.
I mean, medic, the generalist, so you have 5 actions every turn.
Funny enough, I never view the generalist as beneficial. Like, I like the dispatcher a lot more.
I do like the dispatcher quite a bit,
But yes, like, all roles in Pandemic are good, but yeah, there's almost a staple with having a medic. Granted, this one we had the Royal Doctor, who's the closest to it, but he's not OP.
But, I mean, kind of... The nurse is great because you quarantine an entire section down.
But only one section.
Section. No, it's good. I like it.
I can see this more than any other game being a teaching tool. Like if you have a class that's about infectious disease, especially in like high school. This is something that would get people involved and is far enough away from something educational that it might still be interesting.
No, yeah, that's true, because because it does have like the historical information on the events and the 4 diseases. These 4 diseases have their thing about them as well. So yeah, if you're like in maybe I don't know what class, biology, and you're talking about diseases for some reason, microbiology, this could be a cool teaching tool. Also,
Pandemic has always been fairly accurate as far as how diseases spread. I mean, not to a T, but how their diseases explode in certain areas and spread. I think it's very thematic in that way. But
especially with like in this one, able to move patients. Like the patients move to hospitals.
Right. Yeah, which is because what they did is you buy this, and games don't do this anymore. Because otherwise it'd be a Kickstarter and you have 17 add-ons. But this one, you buy the game and you get the essentially 5 variants. You get the patients, and then you get the 4 different diseases. Really, you can't add all 4, but you could just be like, oh, let's have let's have blue be different this game, and then so you have essentially 5 mini expansions, by just buying the base game, and that doesn't happen ever. I don't even remember when this came out, but
A little bit.
19.
This one is also, I feel like, because Pandemic has the stigma of quarterbacking.
Yeah.
And base Pandemic kind of has that, I feel like, more than this one. Because, like you said, the map is smaller, every action is good. And in regular Pandemic, the way the game kind of goes out, it's kind of like, well, this is easily the more optimal choice.
Right.
And this one, there wasn't ever a time where I was like, mainly because we might have just had everything like shit hit the fan the entire time, so there was like no better choice than anything else because it was horrible over here and horrible over here and horrible up there.
Right.
But I don't know, this one just works out where people could be like, well, if I'm gonna do this, like I'm a purify over here, it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's just as good because because you can't mass remove cubes, which is really what kind of the quarterbacking is the best because it's like, no, because that's cured, so you need to go this way as the medic to wipe it all.
Yeah.
And that can't happen in this.
That's true.
Brett, what are your thoughts?
Agree.
All right, that's it.
No, I like the fact that it is
2016 is when this came out.
more difficult, more
I thought it was newer than that.
being more difficult, more strategic. Really, I think involves everyone's highest thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not complex, but it is. There's a bunch of options, there's a bunch of things, and all of them are bad in some way.
Yeah,
right.
We're trying to pick the least bad for everybody, and so that will reduce the quarterbacking because everybody's got to be on their A game to really do well.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of actions in base Pandemic that are just like, oh, I guess, like especially at the beginning of the game, it's like, well, I'll wait until somebody has 5 cards, and I feel like while this still does have that, it seemed to come together more quickly. I think because you're not burning as many cards.
Right, to fly all over the place. And speaking of that, I love the permanency of the railroads.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by it's a puzzle, because that's you reap the benefits of placing that. It's like, yeah, there's probably more optimal ways to place railroads, but at least like I've played games of this where, by the end of the game it's like, oh my god, because we have these railroads, I'm able to get across the entire thing and that saves us.
Yeah. Right.
Versus in regular Pandemic being like, I need a specific card to fly somewhere. No one has it. Okay, I guess I'll just take my entire turn and trek across the country. Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like, if you look at our map, it's not bad for the trains. Like, you can get around.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of tracks. I have played a game where I think we almost ran out of tracks.
Really?
And,
really?
Yeah, but we didn't need them then because we were on almost every city within 2 moves.
Right. In this game, probably, I think out of all the roles, the sailor feels like the odd one out.
Yeah.
Because
very specific use.
He's really good with yellow fever because yellow fever only affects port cities, and he's the one that can get there. But it's like, because we just had all of these, we needed purification, we needed quarantining, we needed healing, and we needed railroads, and it's like, but funny enough, port cities actually are the ones that are the ones that are the most messed up. We were probably hovering around port cities the most.
Yeah.
Right.
Mainly because yellow came in as the heavy hitter.
Yeah, there were 2 moves that I felt like I really saved something because of that ability.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time it was, no, can't do it. I don't have any cards.
Yeah. So comparing this, I don't know if you guys have any of you ever played the expansions to base Pandemic?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever played with all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So we'll have a reference. Did you enjoy this with everything or regular Pandemic with everything?
I probably enjoyed this.
I did too.
I would agree. It feels cleaner.
Yes.
It feels cleaner than base Pandemic. I started comparing it to Fall of Rome because I really do enjoy Fall of Rome, but Fall of Rome is so much different than just Pandemic is that it's almost like it's labeled Pandemic, but really isn't. It's the Pandemic mechanic kind of, but not really. Mm-hmm. Where this feels like this is someone played Pandemic a lot and said, how do I fix the problems that I have in Pandemic? And came up with the solution.
Right, and while keeping it Pandemic.
Yeah.
So in base Pandemic, there's 3 expansions: On the Brink, In the Lab, and State of Emergency.
Yep.
They're all fantastic.
Yep.
On the Brink is just more stuff. It added Virulent Strain,
which is great.
Yeah, no, they're all great. In the Lab is easily the more complex because it's like its own mini game. You don't just you use cards to place cubes, and you actually have petri dishes that you break apart the cubes to. Right. It's its own thing. In the Lab is probably the one that makes it very hard to win with all expansions. But playing that, there was absolutely no hope. You just don't have enough action efficiency to do everything and deal with everything as everything's breaking. State of emergency adds the diseases come from animals.
Yeah.
So there's hinterland spaces that they outbreak, and then they have cities they connect to. All very thematic. But in this one, with everything, I was like, I wonder if it's going to be as chaotic. And it was, but it felt manageable. Like, we lost, and I mean, we only ever researched one disease, but we were close. Like, we were going to get black, and then we were going to get blue, and red was our only problem, and we were pretty much...
And we made it through 5 epidemics.
And we made it through 5 epidemics, with 6 being in the deck. And it was like, it was never boring, kind of like what you said with base pandemic, where, there was even halfway, or even towards the end, there's times where it's like, well, I don't really know what to do. This didn't have that. I would recommend trying it. Hey, throw it, everything at the wall, and you're gonna have a chaotic time. But I would never recommend someone play with every expansion for base pandemic. No. It's too complex. It's too clunky. Pick a expansion and go.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of having everything?
Rough, but
I liked it. Honestly, like, it was rough, but at the same time, each disease is kind of cool, being different, and they're very different. Each one's independently different.
Yeah. You have to strategize how you're going to handle each of them.
Like, I would probably always do that and just choose how many epidemic cards I was going to play with.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's really not a horrible way. Because, this game does come with kind of a weird mix and match. You could do more epidemics and less things.
Right.
We might have done a little bit better if we didn't have the patients moving.
Definitely. That's the one thing that struck me, is that really de-incentivizes building a hospital.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
No, keep them out in the wild. We don't want them to come here.
So we want to collect all of our cards, build all our hospitals in one turn.
Pretty much, yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, if you were to do that, you had to collect 6 cards, 6 cards, 6 cards, 6 cards of the correct colors.
Right. Without having any fast way of trading information.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm writing you a letter 6 weeks from now, you finally get it. Hey, meet me in Toledo, because, all right, we finally show up. Here you go.
Like, if we were to play this again with the intention of, like, really trying to win, using the politician versus the sailor, I think we would have had
that
chance.
Probably would have been, because whenever I do the regular pandemic with all of them, I cherry pick, like, the rolls. There's no way I'm randomizing that.
No.
And I didn't quite do that here. I picked based off what our chairs were, and then I did randomize the 5th one. But yeah, stupid blue chair giving us a sailor.
Yellow chair.
I refuse. I will never have a yellow chair. But yes,
that blue chair gave us the mystic and.
No, I randomized those. I did, yes. But yes, the politician probably would have been the better 5th one to have.
Right.
Because we needed card synergy, which wasn't bad. That is kind of what Pandemic is. You are card reliant, so you want double draws. And in this, the doctor was like, "Yay, I have one of every color. Good thing I'm not curing anything, or good thing I'm not building hospitals." It's but you're right. These are just so cool.
They are.
Yeah.
Like, they're so simple too. You could throw all 4 in, and as long as someone's played Pandemic, they're not gonna. It's not this whole freaking deal. It's not its whole rule book about it. It's just, kind of double outbreak, double cubes, double... Really, actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of always like 2s, double actions, and import cities. What do you think? Did you like these?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd prefer those in the future.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the moving patients?
So thematically, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like, that's honestly the thing that's missing in Pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I view Pandemic as a thematic game.
Right.
It's easier to not, because they are just cubes.
Yeah.
But you could really just, view it as, I always thought, like, okay, this, Soria that's not 3 people infected, that's just how badly that city is.
That's, hundreds, thousands.
Exactly.
Right.
So the moving the patients is really neat, and it does add a different element of strategy of when you build hospitals. Because if you play this without that variant, you pop them immediately.
Right.
Almost.
You should.
You should. There are times where maybe we want a more centralized one because we have to get there to cure or to research. Yeah. But Yeah, and this one you don't. It's just like, let's wait till we get the card that has 3 there so we can at least clean those. Oh, but it's centralized. You don't want them centralized, but you need to build it because you can't survive. Like, Pandemic's never a longevity game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think adding everything, the moving the patients was the variant that kind of put it over the edge.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Although we managed them well. I mean, did we have 2 outbreaks from patients?
I think
I'm
so.
sure we had 1 in yellow.
We had 1 in yellow, but I think that was it.
Yeah, I don't think we had one in black.
Okay.
Yeah, because we didn't have the hospital there at first. We had the double outbreak prior to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mainly because the nurse and the purification just quelled them from constantly dropping. But yeah, that's the other thing. And the railroads. But that's the thing is, like, with the patients moving, it's like, it doesn't ever feel that bad because it's like, oh, it's only 1 cube. But then, like you said, well, that's them moving, and then you're dropping a card on top of it. So it's like, oh, God, they all showed up, and they're not wearing masks. So it sucks. Now we got fucked. Yeah.
I will say, kind of like, I think Fall of Rome came after this one.
It did.
The art on this one, Fall of Rome, was just fantastic. It so much improved, just Pandemic.
I'm looking up when Fall of Rome came out. 2018, so 2 years later. Yeah, that was whenever they were actually doing good Pandemic games, and then they're like, how about a real-time one? Which I like the real-time one, but it's not Pandemic at all.
Yeah. But the art on this is fantastic.
What did the other roles do? Who didn't we have? We had 2. So the politician, spend an action to give a city card to another player in any city. You must be in the city matching the card, or you can swap city cards with, with one from your hand in the discard pile.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Royal Academy Scientist, when you do the Purify Water action, you may play any city card and spend an action to pick up the next 3 player cards, rearrange them as you like, then place them back on top. Yeah, those are pretty solid. Those are pretty solid. I don't know. We would have done a lot better, but I don't think we would have won.
I don't know that we would have won, but I think we would have done better.
We would have felt better
we
about
might have
ourselves.
gotten 3 research.
Yes.
But another thing I do like compare with base Pandemic is there are only 7 rolls.
Yeah.
So they're good, solid 7, where base Pandemic...
quality over quantity.
Right, had tons, and about half of them were kind of like, eh.
Yeah, and then the expansions, like, you have a deck
deck.
rolls, and a lot of them are kind of just variations off each other.
Right.
And also, some of them are expansion dependent. Like, there's, like, 3 different medics, because if you're playing with... They have a super bug, which can't be cured, unless you... Yeah, it's very weird. But you have to play with that one, and so I get what they're doing, but yeah, if I'm playing just base Pandemic, I'm probably playing all the other ones over regular.
Right.
Now, of course, the legacies, all 3 of them are better than any of them, but they're their own beast. So, yeah. I don't have anything else. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, we'll start with you.
Solid 7.
Solid 7. Interesting. Okay.
I'm going 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a game I'd ever buy, but I'd say an 8.
Okay. Yeah, I'm at a 9 as well. I was surprised yours was at a 7. Actually, that was lower than what I was expecting. Yours is higher than what I was expecting because I know you're not you're probably the one here that likes co-op the least.
I think it's a well-made game. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not a game for me. I would play it definitely in the future. I would play it again. I had fun with it, but
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. So 7, 9, 8, 9. That's our thoughts on Pandemic Iberia. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.